The reason why I make so many videos, as repetitive as they are, is to continuously ensure that I bring up all the things they do. And also, I do believe that the more you say things out loud, your words can really do things. And I've seen it. And as I know they're doing things to my vocal cords, also I know you know, uh, the more I speak, I think the better they can start controlling my speech, right? Because I know that this is a machine learning program, meaning that the more samples they get, the better it gets. And so sometimes I struggle to speak. I can feel my brain just try to say it's just so. I can feel my brain trying to force me to say something that I'm not trying to say. It's just so hard for me to speak. So I know at one point they can completely control my speech. It's not the case yet. So let me use my speech where I want it, and spend my last words saying the things I need to say. Because these people are just, bottom feeders when it comes to the perps, but I understand they're just the bottom feeders. Because here, the reality. I'm gonna always start off with reality of what this is, versus what the psyop of what this perps want me to think it is. I'm what you call a targeted individual. I'm a TI. What is a TI? All around the world, you're gonna hear a lot of people saying the same things. A lot of similarities in what we say. And we are subjects, human subjects, guinea pigs, for this extremely sophisticated technology that can do so much to you. There's this directed energy. And it's funny, if you ever search, I recommend, some of the things are so obvious that it comes from where it's coming from. If you ever search for government and directed energy, you will easily find that the DoD has spent billions of dollars to improve that. So it's obvious that they've been working on it. But it's funny, on the website they said, even though billions of dollars were invested in that technology, it did not reach maturity or something. I was like, okay, yeah, as if they're gonna talk about it. But it's obvious to see where the sources of what we're experiencing come from. And so they do these things to me, and I know I'm seeing things to my body. I feel things in my body. And it's this extremely sophisticated technology that can only be understood that the Department of Defense is involved in this, or some super government entity like that, which is the only entity that has that level of funding, capabilities, and resources. So and it makes sense. It's just obvious, right? It's just really obvious. You have to really manipulate your brain to really think otherwise, to not think that they have anything to do with that. And it's obvious, like I said. But also the technology that I'm experiencing is not only what they do to my physiology, my knees, my organs, my brain is also being manipulated. So there's definitely a neurotechnological aspect of this that is used as a weapon for me. They're not doing things to make me better. They are just manipulating me to experience the worst of the worst in a psychological way. So they be making me think in these disturbing ways, make me react in these disgusting pedophilia ways. And what I'm saying is not unique to me. You find that out really soon. That's what you're experiencing is not gonna be unique to you. I was not somebody who was I hear testimonials, and I hear some people had an idea that there was something like target individual before. I had zero. I couldn't even believe that. I was such a person that didn't even want to know about these things. I was like, oh, it doesn't affect me. I don't care about this thing. I could never even think that was true. But quickly, once I searched the right terms on Google, it became super obvious that okay, this is just not something they do to me. Everything I'm talking about, every disturbing manipulations have been implemented onto others, and these people are not people that I know. Those are not people that have any ties to me, connections to me. Zero connection to these people. No idea who these people are. Different part of the country, different like different countries. It's just like obvious that's okay. Well, that's obvious that they do these things and they try to make you accept these things as if it's you. As I'm speaking that right now, I'm speaking about that, I can hear via the V2K, these people try to counter the reality. So the psyops we experience is, for me, it's been a psyop where they wanted to make it seem like it's everything but a governmental entity doing this thing to me. They want him to make this thing seem like to be a unique experience that is only happening to me. And they wanted to paint themselves, the people involved in my targeting, because you're gonna hear that people see it like they create psyops, these perps, the government contract, create some kind of like false reality to counter the reality of what these people are part of. To imagine that this thing that's happening to them is this government, this Russian government doing this Chinese, this cult is doing this, like everything but the reality of this is a human experimentation, and target individuals were subjects to this the research and developing of this technology that does so much horrible things to your brain. Me, there's even childlike individuals who, like, the way you hear them, like, it's just like, oh, if anything, they sound more agitating than me believing them. It's like a kid's like, no, it's you. It's like you're like, oh my gosh. And I'm mimicking those voices because I'm trying to give you a sample of how these people sound like. That you know immediately, oh my gosh, you're just a nobody. If anything, this annoys it. It's kind of annoying, but to think that everything that this trash are like what they present themselves, it's just never gonna happen. So they create this psyop, right? Trying to counter the reality, but then soon you hear like everybody testimony and like, okay, obviously I'm a part of this human experimentation, and they do these things. And so with me, what they've been doing is been manipulating my thoughts in so many disturbing ways. So initially, what I understand and what it looks like is there's an initial start where there's a lot of mapping your brain and be able to like know everything about your brain, to get your signal, your brain signals and everything else in order to start implementing the manipulations. For me, the manipulations started on August 19, 2019. From that point on, my brain has not been the same. From that point on, I've been getting disturbing reactions, disgusting manipulations that are very pedophilia-centric. From that point on, my brain, I've never been the same since. Since then, they rewired my brain in different disgusting ways. And in my brain, they try to counter that, but try to create this retarded logics, I'm sorry to use that word, these illogical ways of thinking to make me accept these manipulations of my brain. So they figure your brain out and then start manipulating your brain. For me, it started on August 19, 2019. That's when all the nasty things happen. And with time, this manipulation becomes more and more ingrained in your brain. Less obvious. It's going deeper and deeper and deeper. Because with time, your brain is just really getting restructured, rewired. And this rewiring blends in more and more. And it's been a lot of pedophilia things, which is the things they've been doing to others. They do these pedophilia things, and they do the same tactics to torment people. Right? And with me, on top of this, doing this pedophilia type of torture, to make me accept and identify with these things, they start like try to. It's so typical brainwashing. Like that's why I would imagine brainwashing would be, because that's typical. Like if you had to imagine what is the way I would make somebody believe something that's false, I manipulate him and or her, and then tell her, oh, they're gonna stretch your butt. They're gonna immediately to lock in these ways of thinking, make you accept these things, and that's what exactly they do. So they'll make me imagine or make me experience these pedophilia things they've been doing to me. For me, it's like, oh, for example, if somebody said black girls, so black little girls, and they give me these stimulations, so nasty, and it's funny because, and this is gonna be a little bit too specific to my targeting. But I want to give you that example. I remember the things they try to do is, I remember when there's a father, I always bring that story up because they try to manipulate my memories of that, because one thing they do too is memory manipulation. And there was a father holding his little girl's hand, and there was a black man holding his little black girl hand. And I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, when I saw them together, I remember, and it was like, oh, this is like wholesome. I like that. At the end, they used to be like, oh, man, a black man with his black child, his baby girl. That's beautiful to see. I see that. I'm like, oh, this is like something that's really wholesome, and I like to see that. And I hear this man say something about, I know what you like, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I like to see this. You're right. I'm not understanding what they try to do. Because the change, the manipulation haven't started. And I looked at him and I was like, yes, I love to see a black man with his black girl or black boy or being a father, period. This is a beautiful scene. So I'm thinking that way, not knowing what this trash is trying to do. August 19, 2019, they start rewiring my brain. Start manipulating me. Now, if I see a black little girl or little girl, I get disgusting reactions, stimulations, right? And that's the nasty things they do to me. You see, since that day, your brain is no longer, my brain was no longer the same. And they told me that. They're like, you kill yourself because it's our brain now. We're going to do whatever we want. I didn't get it. But what they meant is you will never be yourself. You will be manipulated. From this point on, you are no longer you. You are no longer your own person. We're going to make you be whoever we want you to be. And so for me, it's been a nasty experience since that day. Every time I look at children, babies of all, especially little girls, stimulation, sexual stimulation, sensation, thoughts, disgusting thoughts, just implanting the disgusting ways of thinking that is meant to break me down. And that's pedophilia centric. And so I don't know that is what they do to me. But you find out that these psychological torture are not the only things they've done to people. They obviously do these horrible things to the pain, but they torture children. At this point, when I talk, because these people try to discredit you and try to disorient you, I'm embarrassed them. Because everything I say, you're going to hear others saying that. You're going to shortly, after I'm done making this video, once you heard me speak, you're going to listen to somebody say, they make me think in these disgusting pedophilia ways. Try to change who I am. Make me have these thoughts of pedophilia. You hear this woman literally say, they make me smell baby powder, and then they get this pedophilia type of torture. You hear that almost all target individuals are forced to see child porn in their brain. You hear this woman saying they force her to get sexual arousals when they aim it toward children. So you're going to hear that, and you're going to hear the torture of children. That is the things they do. They are nasty bottom feeders. And with me, they're like, no, what we're doing, we're just mapping your brain, so we're just stupidity. It's like we're not manipulating you. And I listened to this a testimonial of this woman. She's a great speaker, a great testimonial. I'm so thankful for every time I hear testimonials of people. And she just says something about, like your brain is being exposed, and they can listen to they can people can broadcast your thoughts, and like, it's like, I wish that was all I was getting, because my thoughts are not just broadcasted, they are manipulated. I'm like that person you're gonna hear next, or this woman who says literally, your thoughts, your perceptions are all manipulated. That's what I'm experiencing. I'm not even, at one point, obviously I wouldn't want to have my thoughts being broadcasted, but this is beyond being me. It's not even just being broadcasted, it's being manipulated. Even before I knew I was a target individual, I remember sending letters to newspapers, saying that not only my brain is being seen, my thoughts are seen, but they're being manipulated. They're changing the way I'm thinking and perceiving and reacting. Just like who you're going to listen to. Because the things they want me to subscribe to are disturbing. They make me experience these pedophilia things and want me to be like, oh, this is it's my thoughts. Then you see who's talking to you. You see who's the trash that talks to you, like, you low life. You think you're gonna make me accept these nasty manipulations? Bunch of pedophiles, low lives. Trash. This trash wanted to. Sorry, I'm sorry I got emotional there. I need to remove those emotions, because that's their job. Their job is to try to convince you that what you're experiencing is just happening organically. And because they used to say these things like, no, we're just exposing you, right? But it's just the humiliation of other testimonials of people saying, my thoughts are no longer mine, I'm being manipulated. Clearly say, it's this woman you're going to hear, she say, on that date I started experiencing V2K, synthetic telepathy. This includes manipulations of your thoughts, your perceptions, and very perverted. Do you understand the clear obviousness of what they do? This is something I was saying before I knew this woman was there. I was saying these things. I was saying this thing before knowing I was a target individual, before even understanding what a target individual. I was sending letters to this newspaper and expressing what was happening to me. I was like, there's something happening to my brain. I'm no longer myself. I don't no longer process things the same way. Something's been happening to my brain. They manipulate my brain. Not only they see what's happening in my thoughts, but also manipulate my thoughts. That I was sending this in March of 2020 to like The Guardian, New York Times, not knowing what this was about, to all the different places, before knowing anything about that. Literally saying, I'm being changed. That my brain is no longer the same. Not only people are seeing what's happening in my thoughts, but my thoughts are being changed. And then in the summer of 2020, I discovered the word target individual. One of the first testimonial I heard is this woman who initially I was like, I can't believe that's real. But the testimonials were exactly the same. And she described, synthetic telepathy, V2K, the manipulations of perceptions and thoughts. And I was like, and then she calls on and goes on and talks about the pedophilia type of torture. And I was like, okay, I get it. So these people are trash that even torture women in these ways, children in these ways. And for me, they want me to identify so much that, no, what we're doing, we're just exposing your thoughts. We're not manipulating your thoughts. It's your thoughts. It's you. We're exposing your brain. And my brain is beyond just exposed. It's being manipulated. Target individual, we are no longer ourselves. They can rewire you. They can manipulate you to experience different ways of experiencing everything. Your thoughts are no longer yours, and it's disturbing. I have no connection with those people that you're going to hear. But why are they saying the same thing? Because this is something they've done to others. And so this trash have been manipulating my memories, my thoughts, my dreams, my everything in these disturbing ways. Everything I've been saying has been said to others, literally. And the thing is, like, they try to make me be like, no, everybody thinks this is your thoughts. It's like, come on, it doesn't take much. At this point, I know every participant, everybody involved in this targeting, in my targeting, are fully aware of the capabilities of this technology. This technology is not only just at the just able to just see your thoughts. It actually can manipulate your thoughts at a deep level too. At a subconscious level. And then you hear this trash, these bottom feeders who are trying to counter reality. Because their job as contracted bottom feeders for these entities, these governmental entities like the Department of Defense, is to try to make somebody disorient this person into accepting these manipulations. So for me at this point, it's like, nope, I'm not going to let you live that fantasy. I'm not. I'm sorry. You're going to have to dumb yourself down. I don't care how you're going to compensate that, but you're going to dumb yourself down, because what you're going to hear next is what exactly has been happening to me.
Called V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual as well.
They're trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like, it's disgusting. Take this whole thing into account so much. I make it so dramatic. It is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like, this disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't care. I just
Often see highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes. It also includes videos. I can be free from this torture. Every day has been a miracle of survival. I also experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and videos in my closed eyes.
Able to impose any information on the brain of a person, presumably by some kind of waves, which in the mind take the form of voices, thoughts and images and imagination. In addition to this kind of implanting information that they need, they manipulate the psyche so that the information is written into your memory. Then by stimulating the certain regions in the brain they can retrieve this information and present it as your own memory. This is the conclusion that can be made judging by the influence they have been making on me with their psychotronic weapons, for example artificial thoughts, imagination, and mental torture.
The targets were forced to perform homosexual acts on each other against their will and religion in order not to be beaten or killed. This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And vice versa is true, that heterosexual targets are forced to view homosexual sex.
I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic. And they used her to threaten the most torture in me, as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions, despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions and had been making incredible progress on all of her therapy goals. This was used to threaten extreme torture on me, making me scream and cry, etc. They would make the kids act out the kinds of torture that would later be done on me. For example, they would also sometimes make her bite her hand, threatening to make me bite my hands, as they often do. One day, she had a large, severe bite mark on her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, "Ow," and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture. One day, I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day.
A lot of it has to do with I'm getting tortured a lot. Emotionally, psychologically, and physically. For days. Ever since I made the last video, they turned some stuff up and they started doing meaner things. A lot of it has to do with forcing me to cry when I'm trying to work. For 11 months, I've been forced to think about the same person every day. Most days they tell me that he loves me. Some days they tell me that he doesn't care at all or that he's selfish. Mostly they just tell me that he loves me, and then they create all these fucking stories based on things that I see.